Hello everybody, we are live at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. They sent us Timesink, they sent us a pass. They flew us all the way out to Australia.
It's in LA.
Everyone's here. We got Table.
It's in LA.
We got Can.
We got Gigok, we got person from Mother's Basement. No, we did not get any of that. This is, as per usual, our normal shitty recording space. So, welcome to the Timesink Anime Podcast and our discussion on the Anime Awards.
The Bunch of Crunch Anime Awards.
Yay! Wait, Bunch of Crunch?
Cereal?
Bunch of Crunch is a type of candy. It's like a little, it's like little crunch, like Crunch bars. They have they had nuggets of them pretty much, like little rice nuggets. It's actually tasty.
All right.
So I think it goes without saying that last year was a really good year for anime. One of the best damn years in quite a while. And I don't think we're alone in saying that. Like a few people on the internet have been saying that, like Gigok, Mother's Basement, Glass Reflection, just to name a few. So last year was a really good year. So expectations for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards were high. But as we've said before, they're a freaking mess as usual.
Yeah, there's not... So what they did, they picked their own nominees. Crunchyroll picked the judges.
Yeah,
and then those judges picked the nominees. And that's, in my opinion, okay, so Crunchyroll is supposed to represent most of the anime community in North America, or English-speaking areas in general. It was kind of not a great move on their part to have people pick what the anime community should vote for.
Yeah.
I think if you're representing the entire anime community, you should be letting the entire anime community vote for what they want.
Yeah, and then having the judges, and then having a panel of judges kind of trimming down the fat until they get a more agreeable list of things. Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment. Now, that isn't to say the anime awards themselves are bad. Now, as I've said before, I think that this being only their third year, they're getting progressively better each year.
They're trying to figure things out. That's for sure.
So that's not necessarily the problem. Now, this year, voting is officially closed. I just looked at it a little bit ago. I'm pretty sure voting is closed. We'll hear the results on the 16th of February.
All right.
Yeah, but so without further ado, let's talk about our picks for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards of 2018.
So real quick, this is not a critique judgment. This is just, I liked this show, therefore I think it should win. We're not, a lot of our picks aren't going to be critical reviews of the picks. It's just kind of I felt like this show should win, therefore it should win, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
There's a best movies category. I think the only movie both of us watched this year was Mirai. Yeah. Out of anime movies.
So I actually have a confession to make, even though I didn't really watch that many movies. I did vote for the Shaft movie that was in the running. It was really irresponsible of me. I recognize that. I'll admit that that's just on the basis of it being Studio Shaft alone. So just
biased.
Yeah, I'll admit that was a mistake on my part, especially since I did not see the movie that they brought forth. But anyway, so that being said, we won't be talking about the best movies category, really.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about our Crunchyroll pick, what we would have picked from the available candidates, and then we're going to be listing our third pick, second pick, and first pick from shows that we just, our shows that we like throughout the year.
Exactly.
So go ahead and kick us off with Best Protagonist.
So for me, for Best Protagonist, this was even before we finished the show, I picked Sakuta Asusagawa from Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. After 4 episodes in on that show, I was sold on him being the best protagonist. He was so enjoyable and fun to listen to and just fun to watch. He gave me very much Koimi Araragi vibes every time he was on screen. So that's why I picked him. Who did you pick?
I picked Sakuta as well.
Yeah, for much of the same reason?
Yeah, you pretty much said it all. He's so unapologetically honest, which is the main reason I like Araragi.
Yeah, Araragi is a great protagonist, and he definitely gives me a lot of that. And Monogatari is one of my favorite series, and it's definitely what cemented my my love for Studio Shaft. Studio Shaft is probably, without question, my favorite anime studio. Everybody has at least one. Yours is Trigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no question.
So yeah, Shaft is mine. So here are some of the picks that I personally would have gone for. Ash Lynx from Banana Fish, and Akira Fudo from Devilman Crybaby. I think that Ash was just a really relatable character. He did get away with a little bit too much at times, going into action movie rules, and then Akira was just a really strong hero, I think, towards the end. Like, you understood why he was a tragic hero, and that's why I liked him. Your picks?
Oh, wait, was it just 2?
Yeah, I just picked 2.
Oh, well, yeah, I have 3. I got Shangbu Huan, just because I love his like philosophy about everything, and just the way he fights is awesome. Mari Tamaki from Shangbu Huan from
Thunderbolt
Fantasy. Mari Tamaki from Place Within the Universe, the main character, just because I like how she wasn't a crazy, fancy character, but she had one motivation, that was just wanting to do something before she got older.
Yeah.
My number 1 pick for best protagonist is Saichi Sugimoto from Golden Kamuy. Just because I love Golden Kamuy so much.
Yeah, why didn't I think of that? Sugimoto's a great protagonist.
Exactly. I love that he's not entirely confident with himself all the time, but when he feels like he's in a really shitty situation, he has to pump himself up. He's just like, I'm the immortal Sugimoto!
Yeah, and I think the dub, like Ian Sinclair's like portrayal of him, certainly portrays that like desperation.
Yeah,
which
sure.
which it's a very different beast, because with the Japanese version, he does seem a little bit more assured of himself, but Ian Sinclair really captures that like desperation, like kind of how he's not entirely there anymore.
Yeah, but Sugimoto just, I love the series, and I love how he works in the series.
Exactly. So, now that that's it, speaking of Golden Kamuy, let's go on to Best Antagonist. Who was your favorite antagonist this season?
I picked for the Crunchyroll nominees, I picked Tsurumi.
Of course. That's who I also picked.
Because he's just so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was a gem every time he was on screen. I can't think of a time where I was like, oh, this guy again.
Yeah. Here's why I personally picked Tsurumi. Because, yeah, as you said, he is ridiculously fun. But the thing about him is he goes from being a complete goofball to being completely downright terrifying at some times. Like, and it just almost at the drop of a hat, you're never entirely sure what he's going to do next. And you're trying to predict what he's going to do next, but you just can't. And that's a lot of the fun with him. You just want to see what this crazed lunatic will do next. Will he cut off his subordinate's ear, or will he draw stick figures on their faces? We don't know. It could anything could happen with him. And that's why I personally think he was the best antagonist of the season.
Yeah, he's just so... He also has a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
Like, he does some shitty things sometimes. Like, I mean, obviously his position warrants him doing shitty things. But also there's like a lot of people respect him.
Yeah.
Just because he took care of them after the war. Like,
yeah.
The government kind of threw his division aside, but he stood up for everybody.
He wants the best for his division. Like,
specifically his division. He couldn't give a fuck about anyone else.
The reason why they're so loyal to him is because he's so loyal to them. There's a mutual respect between him and his division, and it just goes both ways. So that's really I think why he's such a charismatic villain, or antagonist, I guess. He's really much of a villain, especially towards the end of the season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he kind of turncoated at the very end.
No, he stayed true.
Yeah.
He stayed true to exactly. It's Sugimoto that turncoated pretty much. Well, everyone turncoated. What are we talking about?
Everybody turncoated. That fucking finale.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Who were some of your other picks, though?
So my top 3 for best antagonists. My third is Sato Matsuzaka from Happy Sugar Life, specifically near the end of the series.
Yeah.
Because she was the protagonist, but near the end she turned into the antagonist, very much so. Second is Dino Francis Golzine.
Oh,
from
yes.
Banana Fish, because he plays such a hateable mob boss.
Yeah.
And then my first was Tsurumi as well.
Tsurumi.
Yeah,
I agree with those. I agree with those picks for the most part too. Like Dino Golzine was up there as one of my personal picks, because he was just such a scumbag. But at the same time, he was a scumbag with a certain degree of honor to him, which I appreciated. Sato, like you said, she's manipulative, she's crazy, but she's not a bad character at all.
How about yourself?
Those are pretty much my major picks for best antagonist.
Oh, really?
Really, yeah. I'm not even kidding.
Okay. So, next up, we got Best Boy.
Best Boy. Oh, jeez.
What'd you pick?
I picked Kotaro
Yeah, me
Tatsumi.
too.
Yeah.
For Crunchyroll,
Yeah,
yeah.
stop the fucking presses. It was Kotaro Tatsumi.
From Zombieland Saga.
He just... What can you say about him? Every moment he was on screen was just fucking gold.
Yeah, I love how I think my favorite part about him is that when he's private, alone with the girls, most of the time, he's, like, loud and obnoxious and boisterous to him, but whenever he's talking to anyone outside of them, usually
he's very like, quiet, reserved.
Like when he was on the Olympics, the God Olympics.
Yeah.
Hello, yes, I'm trying to win the race.
or when he's at the bar later after Yugiri did the Yugiri special and smacked him in the fucking head, he was just kind of like calmly whispering to everybody. He's like, "You saw that, right? I was gonna say that."
but like, ridiculousness aside, he genuinely supports every single member of the cast.
Yeah.
Whenever someone's having problems, he personally intervenes to try and figure them out.
And the ways he goes about it are usually pretty insane and roundabout, but there usually is a method to his madness, and we start to realize that a lot more towards the end of the season, particularly when we find out that he went to the same high school that Sakura did. Like,
oh yeah,
we had debated for a long time if he was the one that ran her over with the truck.
They still haven't shown that yet. Like, they only showed the second time she got ran over. It was just a guy in a truck.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it definitely means that it doesn't have to. So before we learned that they went to high school together, that was the only logical link that I could put them together with.
Because the reason why he picked the other girls is pretty obvious. Like,
except for Tai,
who's just legendary because he says she is.
Yeah.
But other than that, my other best boys picks for the season were Rei Kiriyama from March Comes In Like a Lion. Unsurprising, you're going to hear a lot of March Comes In Like a Lion votes from me. Just throwing that out there. And Mr. Koito from After the Rain.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he was such a good character. He was just
Koito?
Yeah, Mr. Koito, the manager.
Oh, you mean isn't it Kondo?
It is Kondo.
Yeah.
Who's Koito? I must have. Yeah, it's Mr. Kondo. Then.
Masami Kondo. Yeah.
Yes, my mistake. Masami Kondo. He's one of my favorite boys from that season. Even though he's a 40-year-old man,
still counts.
He's still best boy. And who are your best boy picks?
So third is Haiji Kyosei from Run with the Wind.
Oh, yes.
Just because I like how he's so observant. He's such a good leader. He's always watching everybody. Not in like a creepy way, but as a leader way. Second is Sakata Azusegawa. Just recently finished Bunny Girl. And yeah, we said it earlier, I just love how unapologetically honest he is about everything. But my first pick was Masami Kondo.
Oh, yes.
From After the Rain.
He's so good.
Yeah, it's just, he feels so much like a real person.
Yeah.
Just trying to deal with problems.
Yeah, and he just wants, and at the end of the day, like, he just wants to, it's not about him getting together with Akira in the end.
Yeah, it's about him, it's about Akira making him a better person and him making her a better person.
Yes, and that's why I personally love those two, and I love that show.
Yeah.
It was a great show. So next up
is Best Girl.
We had a lot of good Best Girl contendants this season.
Yeah, I had like a list that was like 20-something characters long.
Yeah,
that I had to shave down.
There were so many good girls in the last year. But who is the one that you personally chose as far as Crunchyroll went?
For Crunchyroll nominees, I picked Hinata Miyake from A Place Further in the Universe.
Yeah, that would have also been my pick. I ended up choosing Anzu, though.
Anzu, yeah, that was
Matsuri.
That was she's up there for me.
Now, why did you pick Hinata? I liked Hinata too. Just for the record, I loved Hinata. She was like my favorite character in that show. There was just something refreshingly honest about her.
I loved watching her journey of, she stopped going to high school because everybody was, I think it was everybody was picking on her.
Yeah, because she was like on a track team or something, and she was on some kind of sports team, and people started to pick on her. She started to grow across from that. And,
but she had this journey of like really caring about what everyone else thought, and then she just wanted to get away for a while. And then while she was in Naruto, like the whole scene where they were calling when the friends were quote unquote friends,
yeah,
were calling, and then I forget black long hair.
Shirase?
Shirase, yeah, that's her name. When she just tells him to, like, shut up.
Yeah!
Don't call here ever again. Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah, exactly. Hinata was adorable, and was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah. And, like, again, there was just something so refreshingly honest about her. As she said herself, she's little, but she's got a big heart. And I loved that.
So Anzu.
I picked Anzu. It was super hard because the reason why I liked Anzu was because at first I wasn't expecting to like Anzu.
Yeah, exactly.
She was
You're like, another piece of shit.
She was just a brat. But then she spends time with the homeless grandpas of hers, and she becomes a better person, and then she eventually gets adopted pretty much, and then she becomes an even better person, and you're just watching her, and you're just like, oh,
like the whole episode where, what's his name, main character? Nita, when he, like, takes her out, and he's just like, I'm gonna corrupt her, because she can't be better than Hina is. Like, there's no way a daughter can be this good. And then she's just the perfect daughter. Yeah, like the whole episode.
Yeah, and she's just adorable and sweet and wholesome. And it just really goes to show you that she was a product of her circumstances. She became a better person once she was put in the right circumstances. And it's gonna be, if this series ever did continue, it would be a privilege to watch her, like, grow up and see what kind of person she would end up being. Anzu was great. A terrible singer, but she was great.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah. Oh God. So, best girls. So the picks that I had were Rin from Laid Back Camp, and then Akira from After the Rain. Yeah. I loved Akira.
Yeah, she was so. I mean, it's the same thing I say for Kondo. She's so much like just a person. Like,
yeah, she's a real person. Like, you can really tell the, like, struggles she's going through, and you just want to see her get through them okay.
Also, I absolutely love her design.
Oh my god, her design is so perfect.
90s
yeah, exactly.
It's so good.
But it was a show that was made in, like, the 2000s. Like, it was a manga series that was written in, like, 2007, I want to say. Maybe later. Mm. Don't quote me on that.
Either way, it was a really refreshing, like, art style that came out last year.
And your picks for best girls?
First off, I got Kohaku Tsukishiro from Iroduku.
Oh my god, Kohaku.
Because she's just so precious and she makes everyone around her happy. My second pick is Anzu, which we already talked about just now. And my first pick is Rin Shima from Laid Back Camp.
Okay, Rin is great, and it's a shame she wasn't a part of the actual nomination.
She's so goddamn comfy cozy.
Yeah, she is. I just love her, like, kind of cynical attitude, but she's also super adorable. Yeah. Loves dogs and likes to tease them, only to have them freaking barrel her down.
Yeah, I love watching her slowly come out of her shell a little bit more. Because originally she was like, I only like solo camping. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Only solo camping, but with Nadeshiko starting to kind of push her way into her life, she slowly started liking, like, maybe group camping could be fun with certain people.
Yeah, just the right people. I agree. Rin was great. So, now on to the best OP. A lot of good OPs this year, once again.
Yeah, it was like my best girl list where I had I think I had more. I think I had 30 OPs or something.
Holy shit, dude.
It's because I went through the entire season looking at all the OPs. And I was
the entire year?
I like this one. Oh yeah, the entire year. I was like, I like this one, this one, this one.
I think mine was a little bit simpler because, I liked a lot of the OPs, but there were only a few of them where they just really, stuck out. Like, if the song was really good, it really stuck in my head and made me look at the OP and appreciate it a lot more. But as far as the options we were given, for best OP, I chose Fiction from Wotakoi.
Yep, me too.
Yeah,
for the Crunchyroll. Yep.
Yeah, it was just such a good catchy song.
Yeah, well, not even the song. Okay, the song was really catchy, but also just the cute little motions that all the characters are doing.
Yeah, towards the end.
It's just so adorable, showing off the couples, and then you have the side characters.
Exactly.
And it was really colorful, and it was just really enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Sumika. I listened to a little bit more of their music after watching that opening, and it's just they have so much personality behind their songs.
Yeah, it was a very bouncy, fun song. Even though, because the song itself was about just, life sucks sometimes, we just gotta learn how to turn the page and move on with it. It's really refreshing. I like that OP. A couple other ones that I wanted to pick. Nostalgic Rainfall from After the Rain. such good visuals, like very adorable, like Akira in her like sort of I'm so in love kind of poses pretty much, and just like how happy she is, how elated. And then my other pick was Found and Lost from the first season of Banana Fish.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I love that song.
It was really hype, especially like near the end when they finally played it.
Yes, it was so good. That final fight scene between Fox and Ash was made infinitely better because they played that first intro. It was so good.
The opening is like, okay, that aside, the opening just sets the mood so well for like
Ash's
intense,
turmoil. Yeah,
an intense like gangster kind of drama.
Yeah, exactly. Like in a revenge story, which I loved Banana Fish. Banana Fish was easily one of my favorite shows last year. What were your picks?
My favorite picks were his/story, the opening to Thunderbolt Fantasy Season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Every time it was on, it was like, yeah!
Even when it's used as an attack in the show.
Yeah. And then Winding Road, Man with a Mission for the first season of Golden Kamuy.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
And then my first pick, or number one pick, was Shiny Days. From Way Back Camp from Asuka. Yeah, but it was just so happy. Like every time I hear, you can't listen to that opening and not be in a good mood. It's physically impossible.
I can't hear it. I can't hear it without thinking of the Jackson 5.
Oh yeah,
because it totally sounds like "Give Me One More Chance" by the Jackson 5.
It's sampled. I feel like at least the first part anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that. The opening always gives me good vibes. I love it was very well directed, I think, in my opinion. It was kind of like a music video.
Yeah.
I think it's how a good opening should be.
Exactly.
Like, just when you see, like, it kicks off with, when the music kicks in, you just see a mustache, and then you see Nadeshiko's face appear behind it, and then, like, the tents flying around and stuff.
And which actually became a joke at the last episode.
I'm the CEO of camping.
I'm just like the CEO of the mere concept of camping.
Yeah. My dad owns camping. So, next up is Best Ending.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest. This one was a little bit harder to pick for me, because a lot of the EDs were, we didn't really watch that many.
Have you been lying about all your other picks?
No.
Like, I'm gonna be honest now.
I'm just, full disclosure, EDs were not the ones that I spent a lot of time listening to.
Yeah, I didn't either this year, like, going throughout. Like, I think during this, specifically during, like, winter 2019, we've been watching the endings.
Yeah, because
after every episode.
We've been making an attempt, because we're missing out on a lot of good endings.
Because I think a lot of people skip them, because you're like, alright, this show's over, time for me to watch the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. But I think people miss out on a lot of good stuff in that regard. But the ending I picked from the Crunchyroll Anime Awards was Refrain from After the Rain.
Oh, God, I don't remember that one.
It was just a very calm, soothing sort of deal. It definitely kind of just gives you the impression that just rain is falling. I don't like being in rain when, like, actually outside, but, like, just kind of sitting inside and hearing the rainfall, super relaxing. And that's really the impression that ending gave me. Just falling rain.
Yeah, I picked for the Crunchyroll pick. I got "Fly Me to the Star" from Starlight Kukigumi. I think is who did it.
Yeah,
it's Review Starlight.
Yeah,
I loved how each different ending had different characters.
Yeah, the characters they focused on that episode, right? Pretty much.
And I just love the pastel, like crayon art style.
Yeah.
Everything. I just love that art style. It's adorable.
Yeah,
and it did a very good job of setting the mood, I think, for the end of the episode, which is what I think endings should do.
I mean, that's, because as Jeff from Mother's Basement has put it before, an opening is supposed to get somebody engaged, invested, and wanting to watch the show. An ending is meant to just sort of wind people down and get them, and just kind of like, okay, welcome back to the real world, people.
So for my actual picks, I got Sweet Hurt, by Riona from Happy Sugar Life, the Happy Sugar Life ending, because, well, I love the song, but also it was used really well in the final scene, the falling scene.
Oh, God.
Second is, From Here, what was it? From Here, From Now On, A Place for the Universe ending. I loved the feeling of it. It was so, like, just thinking about the ending is just like, I just want to cry, because they played near the end, and it's just so happy sounding. But the number one pick is Red from Survive Said the Prophet, the second Banana Fish ending.
Oh my God, that one was so good.
They used it so well, Because like at the end of every episode, pretty much a Banana Fish was like, "What's gonna happen next?" And then you just hear the endings start kicking in,
and then you're just like, "Oh, now I'm actually sad," because that is actually one of my picks as well. Just because of that, like they played that when AG got shot, and you're thinking, "Oh God, he's not gonna like." And it seemed to be like a sort of like a meme. Anytime that song started playing, shit was about to go down. It was basically the Red Wedding.
It's my favorite of the year. How about yourself?
One of my personal favorites, as far as ED, was Fly Me to the Star as well. Again, for the same reasons that you picked. And then Red from Survive Said the Prophet at the end of Banana Fish.
Yeah, Frank just said what he said. Yeah. So, okay, what's next?
All right, next up, after Best ED, is Best Japanese VA.
So I have one very clear winner this year.
Oh, is it Kotaro Tatsumi's voice actor?
No, it's not. It's my pick for Crunchyroll was Reina Ueda, the Akane Shinjo.
Oh, Shinjo's so good.
Don't get me wrong, the guy who voiced Kotaro also nailed it, but I feel like Akane Shinjo did that character perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many points just listening to her talk that legitimately sent chills down my spine. Like, just as an example, the scene where she's in the bedroom
trying to basically seduce him.
Yeah, and she's like whispering into his ear, and I'm just like, oh god, that's so creepy.
It was creepy, but also but it was also said in like such a come hither way. But it was also just but the subject matter of what she was talking was just downright fucking disturbing.
Yeah. And the ending scene with her talking to Rika, it just crushed my heart.
Yeah, her just saying goodbye to Rika. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, how about you?
I personally said Kotaro. I don't remember. I forgot to write down his name, so that's my bad. But the voice actor for Kotaro just seemed to have so much fun every time he's on screen. Like just how bombastic and over the top he was, but he would go from that to also just like calm and quiet and stuff like drop of the hat. And he was also the same guy who voiced Okabe Rintaro, so that also kind of colored my perceptions, because I like that character too. And he brought a lot of that same energy to Kotaro Tatsumi.
Yeah. Specifically his, what was his mad scientist name?
Hoi Kyoma!
Yeah, that energy, for sure.
Exactly.
What about your other picks?
So my picks for Best Japanese Voice Actors were Rei Kiriyama from March Comes In Like a Lion. I just like that voice actor. I also liked another character from March Comes In Like a Lion, Sakutaro Yanagihara, the old man, the old Meijin,
the sash scene.
Yeah, the burning sash.
Oh yeah,
it was that. Just that scene and just like that pressure, just him talking about that, just set chills down my spine. I was completely enthralled.
That was probably my favorite scene from that season.
Yeah, he was probably one of my favorite characters and from that show in general. And he's probably my favorite, but then also special props to the voice actor for Nifuji from Wotakoi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just like his dry kind of detached sense of humor and just
it's hard to tell if he was actually being serious all of the time.
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely adored him. And what about your picks?
So first off is Naomi Ozura, the voice actress for Chio Miyamo from Chio School Road, just because she's so goofy and I had fun listening to her all the time.
Yeah, especially that give me
the dollar. Kana Hanazawa for Sato Matsuzaka, because she did such a good job of making me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
which I feel like that's probably the most uncomfortable I've been watching a show in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the scenes when Sato's aunt was on screen.
Oh yeah, well that was also creepy. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. From the tree over in the next yard, I guess.
Because that's her aunt.
But yeah, my first pick is Reina Ueda for Akane Shinjo.
Yeah,
just because of all the stuff I already explained.
She did a super good job.
So well. Mm-hmm. So next up is Best English Voice Actor, which I didn't watch a lot of English anime this year, but I have a couple picks. My Crunchyroll being Christopher Sabat for All Might.
Yeah.
I don't think I watched the latest season dubbed. I watched specifically the All for One for All fight.
The United States of Smash.
And he just brings so much energy to the character. He definitely does it justice.
Yeah, he's and Unlike some people have compared the two of them, like, the Japanese one has a tendency to kind of be a little bit more jovial and jolly, but Chris Sabat is just downright serious, and when he does get serious, it's terrifying.
Yeah, you can definitely feel, like, the intimidation that the character that All Might is trying to get across to the world.
Exactly. Now, for me, my favorite, the English VA that I picked from Crunchyroll was Erica Mendez as Retsuko. I love Erica Mendez. I actually had the opportunity to meet her at a convention last year. She was super cool.
So did she do the heavy metal singing?
I don't believe... No, she did not. She got there was, like, an actual heavy metal singer who did it for her. Like, but no, it wasn't her. That would have been epic. But no, it was a guy from an actual heavy metal band. Okay. So
yeah, I watched all of that dubbed as well.
Yeah,
it was. I actually haven't watched it subbed at all.
Yeah,
because it was like it's on Netflix and it's dubbed, and there's a lot of good talent here.
Yeah, you got just Erica Mendez as Retsuko, Ben Diskin as Haida, who was great. I don't know Theneko's voice actor's name, but she was a lot of fun to listen to in the dub as well. Just her dry, deadpan laugh.
So your top picks.
My top picks for best English VAs were Christina V as Miki from Devilman, like the main girl in Devilman. Mm-hmm. I really loved her character, and I like Christina V, so there's that. Chris Sabat as All Might was a really good one for me as well, and I can't really think of anybody else right off the top of my head who else I picked. My favorite one was Retsuko, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. So mine are Erica Mendez as Retsuko, because of what we said. Sean Schemmel as Goku, because like I grew up watching him as Goku, and it's just I love what he does to the character. It's different. I will say for that, the sub and dub are kind of different characters.
They're very different.
Yeah, but my number one pick is Monica Rial for Shirpa.
I actually had almost forgotten. Mine was actually going to be Ian Sinclair for
Hey,
Sugimoto.
There we go.
Yeah. Ian Sinclair for Sugimoto, because as I said earlier, he just brought this like desperate energy to him, and he was just a lot of fun to watch. Recently, Funimation released on their Facebook page the infamous otter stew scene.
Oh man, I need to go back and watch that now. But yeah, Shirpa, because I think Monica Rial's probably one of my... I don't know if she's my favorite, but she's definitely one of my favorite English voice actors. Back at the same convention where we met Erica Mendez, also met Monica Rial.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want to adopt you as my voice actor mom.
Yeah.
Because she just seems like such a sweet lady.
Yeah, she really did. And like during one of the panels we went to, she just stayed in character as Froppy the whole time.
But specifically for Shirpa, she did research like for the Ainu culture itself and like pronunciations and everything.
Yeah.
And she like actually was like, actually no, that's wrong. This is how you pronounce it. And they're like, oh, well, okay, like, you did the research.
Yeah, exactly.
And she just, it's kind of her character style, that little girl kind of crazy.
Little girls pay my bills. Yeah. Wasn't that her slogan for a while?
Yeah, but yeah, I loved her as a Sherpa.
All right. On to Best Director. Once again, we didn't really pay much attention to the staff, as much as we probably should have.
I mean, I just based it on what I thought was best directed.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Itself. And that being my Crunchyroll pick was A Place Further in the Universe.
Yeah, mine was the same thing. Place Further in the Universe was so great.
Yeah, that show just like, it hit me so hard just after watching it.
The scene that gets to me there are two of them that stand out. One, when they're running in the streets, just kind of enjoying it. It was so well handled, like just the bright colors and just like how everybody's basically like tag teaming, basically trying to get away from, trying to get running. There was some kind of like youthful energy to it. The other major scene being the scene with the laptop.
Oh god! Oh, that episode had me like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah,
I just have tears in my eyes.
Yeah, and. I said initially too, there was one more scene that really got to me. The scene when Kimari tried to talk to her mom about going to Antarctica. Because there was just something like so...
And the dad's just like, you're on your own.
Yeah, just forgive me. Because as kids, there are always those times when you try to do something without your parents knowing about it, and you're just trying to weasel your way into getting them to agree with it, but they already know. So... Yeah. That just reminded me of moments like that, and that's why I personally loved Place Further in the Universe direction so much. But what were your other picks?
Director for Place Further in the Universe is Atsuko Ishizuka.
Yeah.
By the way, I got Oikawa Kei for Hinamatsuri, funniest anime of the year. The comedic timing was just on point throughout the entire show. Watanabe Ayumu for After the Rain, because it was such an uncomfortable topic handled so incredibly well.
Yeah.
And the characters, just it was a good show.
Yeah.
My number one though is Best Directed Place Further in the Universe.
Yeah. For me, it was. For me, my personal favorite directed series was the director for Banana Fish. Loved the director in that series. There were just so many good scenes that just gave me freaking chills. Like the freaking Fox versus Ash scene is still probably one of my favorite fights of the year. The other one being Atsuko Ishizuka from Place for the Universe. My absolute favorite director, though, is Akiyuki Shimbo from March Comes In Like a Lion. Because, again, that freaking burning field sash scene.
Yeah, they do such a good job. That show sets the standard for visual storytelling.
Yeah, visual, like, and it's because it's Studio Shaft, and they always go with such surreal, esoteric imagery sometimes. It's so well handled and so pretty. Yeah, it is such a pretty show.
I'm not sure if it was this season or last season of March Comes In Like a Lion, but just the whole Ray always feeling like he's underwater.
I'm pretty sure that was in the first season, but yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
It's exactly.
They do such a good job of making you feel how the characters feel.
Yup.
So, best animation.
This was a hard one for me. I ended up going with Devilman, actually, because I really liked the style of Devilman's animation.
The Devilman run.
I will say that sometimes the stuff wasn't always the most technically impressive, but just like the style and stuff that went behind it, and there were some scenes that really stood out as just how insane the animation was. You could really tell the director and the animators put their all into making the scene as like visually striking and memorable as possible, even if some of it was bizarre as shit.
Yeah, I haven't personally finished Devilman Crybaby yet, but what I have seen, like, it looks really good. Like the scene where he brings him to the nightclub, and you just see all the monsters freaking out. And you know, I was making fun of the Devilman run. Yeah, it looks goofy as fuck, but you can also tell that it was all hand done.
Yeah,
like it's very goofy, but also very in character.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the style, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
My Crunchyroll pick was Megalobox because they captured the '90s aesthetic perfectly. Or like, I guess, it was early 90s. Cause, I think what they did is they like took the show, they made it in full 1080, like they drew it out in full 1080, full resolution, and then they downscaled it.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was something.
I'm pretty sure that's how they did it.
Again, super cool how they did that. Yeah. I loved that animation style, and it especially went into full effect like towards the end of that final fight with Yuri. Yeah, holy shit!
It was a little awkward at first, because I was like, everything seems really big. And I was like, oh, that's because it's in a really shitty resolution on purpose to give it that old school style.
Exactly. And that's really cool.
But yeah, the animation itself was just, all the fights were amazing. They put a lot of weight behind the punches.
Yeah, and the gears themselves, like how they would like occasionally like shift or expel smoke and shit definitely. Like that. Just, so good. I loved Megalobox. It was just a really good show. As far as other best animation, what were your other picks?
I had Megalobox, just personally. Run with the Wind, because it's not fancy. It's not fancy animation, but it's just people running. But they do such a good job of making you feel how exhausting it is. Yeah. How much motion is being put behind every step they take. Mm-hmm. But my number one, a lot of people probably will be like, that's not animation. Thunderbolt Fantasy. Okay. Like, yeah. They are animating the puppets via puppetry. Yeah. I consider it, in the run for this category. It was a spectacle, the entire show. The writing itself was incredible, but just watching the puppets do puppet things. Yeah. Or do normal things as puppets, like breathe smoke out of their mouth. Yeah. Or sword fight, do flips in the air. Like, specifically with Lang, how he would always swing around his peepa and then just like slam it on the ground. It's just like, how do you do that with puppets? Jesus.
Yeah, no kidding. So for me, my personal picks were Place Further in the Universe for best animation, followed then by Devilman, because, again, style, it was a really big factor in that for me. There wasn't, again, not always the most technical skill behind it, I think, but with what they had, it was really, really good. And lastly, as I said before, March comes in like a lion! This would totally be the March comes in like a lion award if they let me.
It's fine, yeah. It's all personal how we feel about it.
Exactly. Because, again, the animation in that show is just so good. The style of it is amazing. One of my favorite things about it is how all the backgrounds look like freaking Vincent van Gogh paintings all much. They're, like, especially when he ever goes to the Kawamoto's house, it looks like Starry Night, which is my favorite Vincent van Gogh painting ever. So that just really cemented why it was my favorite show in terms of animation. So next up?
Next up would be Best Film, but like I said earlier, we only watched Mirai.
Yeah. So
Best Character Design. My Crunchyroll vote was Zombieland Saga. Just because, like, I loved the design of everyone's faces, and the expressions are so good.
Oh, yeah.
And they're also, they're such a bright, colorful, unique cast of characters.
Mm-hmm. I would have to second that for much of the same reason, because Zombieland Saga did have such a memorable, like, character design. Like, every character, like, you could see them, and it was just, I will not forget their character designs for a long time.
Yeah, it was very cartoony. With a lot of stuff. In a good way.
And I think just how exaggerated some of it was, like just seeing how big of a man Lily's dad was, for instance, how he had such a huge body but such a tiny head, for instance. That really just kind of captured
Speaking of Lily, like Lily's heart.
Yeah.
Whenever Lily was nervous, her heart was just like boom, 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 like going crazy.
Yeah, I absolutely love the character design in that show. As far as other character designs, that is definitely one of them. I also really enjoyed Place Further Than the Universe's character design. Love Hinata. Once again, I cannot stress enough how Hinata is my favorite girl in that series. She's just, everything about her was just so fun to watch. And lastly, Banana Fish, actually. I loved the character design for Banana Fish.
Very, very reminiscent of, like, Akira.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it took the sort of 80s shoujo style, but updated it. And it doesn't feel out of place at all. They took something that was kind of old and gave new life to it, which I thought was really refreshing. Banana Fish was a great series for that. What about you?
I'd have to go with Darling and the Franxx. So, I mean, weird ending aside, I loved all the character design.
The character designs for Darling were good.
It's Trigger. I love what Trigger does, and I also love what A1 does. Mm-hmm. And you smash them together, and I just really enjoyed that. Laid Back Camp, just because every time whenever I look at them, and they're just having a good time, and they're just, like, sitting next to a campfire, and it's just like, I also feel like I'm next to the campfire.
Yeah, I would like to be next to that campfire.
But my number one was Zombieland Saga, just because of how bombastic and well done all the character designs were.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
So, next up, let's go to Best Fight Scene.
Oh, my God.
This was not a very hard choice for me for Crunchyroll. All for One versus All Might.
Yeah.
Not only the fight itself, but the implications behind the consequences of the fight.
Yeah.
Were just so crazy. Like, you have All Might being the symbol of peace, and then when he, like, at the end, when he, like, holds his hand out and says, "You're next."
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, man, like, that's the moment where, as an audience member, you know that the symbol of peace is dead, and the world is never going to be the same. But for the fight itself, the choreography is so good, the animation of it was crazy. My favorite moment of it was when All Might is going to punch him with his left hand, and then you see his arm shrink, and all of his power goes into his other hand, and that's the finishing blow, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the United States of Smash, yes. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because in Mother's Basement video on that fight, they talk about how he kind of picked up that trick from Deku, of all people. So not only is Deku learning from All Might's learning from Deku, and that's a really cool relationship, and a good way of showing that. For me, I had to say that my favorite fight was actually the final fight of Satan versus Devilman from Devilman Crybaby. Again, you haven't seen it, so you wouldn't know. But
yeah, I mean, I understand if you want to spoil by talking about it. That's fine.
Now, again, the spectacle of it was absolutely freaking awesome. Like, just some of the things they did, like, you'd see, like, people lose, you'd see, like, a Devilman lose limbs, but then other Devilmen would go and, like, graft onto his legs and then shift into his legs and stuff like that. You'd see, like, all these huge explosions, but at the end of the day, again, much like the All for One versus All Might fight from Hiroaka, the final fight, what was at stake there was so intense. And it ended on such a bleak note, though, because the show, Devilman, without giving away too many spoils, does not end happily.
I've heard.
It is a very, very bleak show. And honestly, that fight really culminated in just how bleak it became. And the aftermath of that fight is actually just one of those things that makes me go, oh, shit. But yeah. That was my favorite fight, I think, of the freaking year. At least of the Crunchyroll animation of the awards. Now, what about your favorite fights outside of the nominations?
So, first up, I got Len versus Pitohi from Sword Art Alternative. Just because that fight was so kick-ass, and I absolutely loved the way it ended.
Yeah.
Cut, kick!
Cut, kick, rip out, throat.
She ends the fight by ripping her throat out.
Oh god, it's so brutal.
Sakura versus Saki rap battle. I consider that one of my favorite fights.
That's a good fight. That is a very good fight.
That was probably one of my favorite moments out of the entire year. I think I have my favorite gif from that is just Sakura just kind of like leaning back and forth with that pissed off look on her face. But my number one was All for One versus All Might, because that was just, I already explained why. It was fantastic. How about yourself?
Yeah, for me, it was the All for One versus All Might for the same reasons that you'd already said. My second choice was actually Satan versus Devilman. And then my first choice was actually Kai Shimada versus Sakutaro Yanagihara from March Comes In Like a Lion. Their shogi match. I actually consider that a fight.
Yeah, I would too, definitely.
Because even though they don't really, like, I don't play shogi, so I don't know a whole lot of the rules or how complicated it is or all the different strategies and stuff like that. But the way that they went about it just made me care so much about shogi as a sport and just these two competitors.
Yeah, you care about it so much because they care about it so much.
You realize what's at stake for the both of them. Like, you have somebody who's never won a championship in his life, and this is probably his first chance of actually doing it, and somebody else who has won constantly and has all this pressure, and if he just is able to win one more match, he'll be known as an eternal Meijin, and that would be a huge title,
especially because he's so old.
Yeah, it was such a hard fight to watch, I think, because at first I was thinking, oh yeah, totally, go for Kai, because like we'd already been introduced to his character, but as soon as they gave you Sakutaro's backstory, I was like, shit, really, if either of them wins, the other one loses, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, it was really hard to just, like, root for one person.
Yeah, and that's why I think it was just one of the most lasting fights for me, just because because there was no, like, clear, good outcome for the loser. Like, it was somebody would win and that'd be good, but it was such a bittersweet thing, because that means the other person that you'd grown to care about would lose.
Yeah.
And
that being said, I think it's probably better for the older guy to win.
Yeah, Sakutaro.
Just because, like, if you look at it from, like, a literal perspective, like, yeah, he doesn't have as much time.
Yeah.
And I think I did actually find myself rooting for him.
Yeah.
In the end. And the narrative definitely put him in, like, the protagonist seat for that fight.
I agree.
But yeah, it was really good. Next up, let's go to Best Continuing Series. This being, like, at least my take on it is, it's like, they don't want people to be winning the same award every year. So, like, let's say if you had a show come out last year and it continued into this year, I think that's why they made that category.
Yeah.
So I put my choice for the Crunchyroll one was March Comes In Like a Lion.
Yeah, that should be no surprise, given everything else I've said at this point. Like, are you people really surprised?
Yeah, I don't think we're really going to explain much for that one, because we talked about it in that fight right there.
Like, I'll just conclude it by saying it is my absolute favorite series of pretty much ever. It is my favorite series. Like, bar none. I love it. That's my favorite show. I didn't really have any other continuing series that I particularly enjoy. The only other one that I could think of right off the top of my head was Ancient Magus Bride, actually. Again, because Studio Wit had such good production values, it was a really nice story. I loved it. But it just, for me, the clear winner is obviously March Comes In Like a Lion. How about yourself?
I got Dragon Ball Super, just because
Dragon Ball.
I love Dragon Ball, yeah, and they know what they're doing and they do it well. March Comes In Like a Lion, we already explained it, but Hero Aka is my number one because that's going to be going for probably years to come.
Yeah,
and like I probably could have put Best Girl or Best Boy or Best Protagonist from Hero Aka on here. I wanted to bring up newer shows. And because Hero Aka is my favorite anime, not of all time, but definitely my favorite recent anime.
Yeah, it is definitely, for me, it's that it is a show that has re-inspired my faith in the shonen genre. Like, because I'd fallen out of favor with the genre, because I'd gotten kind of tired with the same tropes from DBZ, and Bleach was the first series I actively ever rage quit reading, and just, I'd gotten so tired with the shonen genre. This re-inspired hope for it. I was like, you know what? Maybe shonen series aren't so bad after all. So, I can definitely see why Hero Aka is up there. The voting has concluded.
We got Best Anime of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah. So, the most important category, the creme de la creme, the anime to rise above all anime for 2018.
Yup.
My favorite from the Crunchyroll was Place Further in the Universe.
Mine was also Place Further in the Universe.
That show just it made me feel so many things that like I hadn't in a while. Where you thinking like I'm getting older, maybe I should spend this time doing things that are fun, or do something that I'm not going to be able to do eventually.
It's definitely one of those shows that just kind of recaptured for a lot of people like what it was like to be young and wanting to do something crazy.
Yeah, they did such a good job making you feel how it's like to be a kid again.
Yeah, and just wanting to do something that's just completely nonsensical or impossible. Just it's definitely recaptures that spark of insanity from when you were a kid. I absolutely adored that show for this.
So what are your choices for Anime of the Year?
Top one, without any spoilers, is Place Further in the Universe, actually. I love March Comes In Like a Lion, but I don't think that'd be fair to just say. Like, that's probably my second choice. I think that, like, that's my personal favorite show, March is, but Place Further in the Universe, I would say, is critically the best. I absolutely love that series, and I really say that's about it for me. Those are my Anime of the Year choices. Place Further, and then March Comes In Like a Lion.
So mine are Golden Kamuy in third place. First and second season both together. Just lumped them together. I love that show. Second is Place Further in the Universe. I loved it. But my number one was Laid Back Camp because no show has made me feel like that show has ever. Like it's just every time I'm watching the show, I just want to curl up in a blanket, sit back, sip a cup of hot cocoa, and just I love the interaction.
Eat some curry noodles.
Oh yeah, some curry cup noodles, which we've recently gotten in America.
Yeah, go and buy them today, kids. We're not sponsored by curry noodles.
But it's just I just feel so comfortable. It makes me feel so happy watching the show all the time.
Yeah, I can certainly see why. That show is absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. I would actually, if I had to go back and addend it, my choices a little bit, my third choice would actually be After the Rain. Because, as we said earlier, like, animation was super good in that show. Like, character designs were great. The characters, holy crap, they felt like just such real characters. And it was such an uncomfortable topic that was handled so freaking well.
Yeah.
And that ending scene where they basically say goodbye to each other was just actually heart-wrenching.
It was heart-wrenching, but also hopeful at the same time.
Yeah,
because they were like, goodbye for now.
Yeah.
Because they're like, maybe in the future when we're better people, then we can try again.
Or, maybe they don't even have to, though.
But that's what they said, though.
Yeah.
Like, at the end.
It was such a good thing. And then, of course, special mention to the little bit where it was actually in Akira's head when she's like turns around and runs back and gives him a hug. But that was all in her head. And it's just like, again, it kind of captures like the what you want versus what you know is the best thing. Mm-hmm. And Akira was such a great character. I adored her. And that show was amazing.
So, round of applause for anime in 2018. It was a fucking awesome year.
Yeah, it was a great year. Hard to believe that we've been doing this for 6 months now. Or actually a little over 6 months almost, right?
So let's see. We started this channel and this podcast in summer 2018.
Yes.
Yeah. So, a little over, about 6 months now.
Yeah, about 6 months. And it's just a shame that we didn't tune in sooner because, holy crap, we had such a good year last year.
Yeah, Winter was... that was probably my favorite season.
Winter was great.
And, Laid Back Camp, Place for the Universe, After the Rain.
Mm-hmm.
What else did it have? Did it have Attack on Titan?
I think it... No, Summer had Attack on Titan.
Yeah. I don't remember, but I just remember Winter being awesome.
Oh, Winter also had Devilman.
Devilman. Oh, and Golden Kamuy.
Yeah.
First season of Golden Kamuy.
Oh, yeah, the first season of Golden Kamuy. I'll admit, I was a little off-put by the terrible CG bears.
Yeah,
but...
so was I. The CG bear and the CG fire, I was like, oh, that looks kind of weird, but as soon as I ignored that, I just got super into the series.
Yeah,
like I said, it became one of my favorite of the year.
Yeah, last year was without a doubt a good year for anime. One of the best ever. I've been watching anime since high school, and last year was certainly one of the best. One of my personal favorites. I'm looking forward to another really good year.
Yeah, see, we're starting off pretty good this season.
Yeah, this season. This season is very, as we've put, whelming. It's not particular. It's not particularly overwhelming with a bunch of good stuff. Like Fall 2018 had so many good things just coming out all at once. And then this has a handful of just really good stuff, but nothing that I was just looking at and saying, "Oh yeah, I totally want to watch that."
So here's to another long year of anime and another year of a well-financed Timesink anime podcast. Here's hoping we get another invite to the Crunchyroll Anime Awards,
which are in.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, take care of yourselves, everybody.